Chevrolet Chevelle SS454 LS6, 1970. In 1970, Chevrolet created a muscle car that could scare almost anything on the street, the Chevelle SS454 LS6. Under the hood was a massive 454 cubic inch V8, officially rated at 450 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. The engine featured high-flow cylinder heads, a performance camshaft, solid lifters, and a Holley 4-barrel carburetor, all designed for maximum power. That huge torque allowed the Chevelle to launch brutally hard, reaching 60 miles per hour in roughly 5 seconds and covering the quarter mile in the low 13-second range with the right setup. And unlike many muscle cars, it didn't need a complicated formula, just big displacement, rear-wheel drive, and enormous torque. Chevrolet built fewer than 5,000 LS6 Chevelle, making this 1970 monster one of the most legendary and collectible muscle cars ever produced. In 1996, Pontiac gave the Firebird Trans Am a serious performance upgrade, the WS6 package. Under the hood sat GM's legendary 5.7-liter LT1 V8, producing 305 horsepower and 335 pound-feet of torque. But the WS6 wasn't just about power. It featured a specially tuned suspension, performance tires, 4-wheel disc brakes, and a distinctive ram air induction system designed to feed cooler, denser air into the engine. The most recognizable feature was its enormous ram air hood, giving the Trans Am an unmistakably aggressive appearance. With a manual transmission, it could launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 5 seconds and run the quarter mile in the low 13 seconds. For the 1990s, the WS6 delivered an impressive combination of V8 power, rear-wheel drive, aggressive styling, and everyday usability, making it one of Pontiac's most memorable performance cars. In 1987, Ford turned the Mustang GT into a true American performance icon. Under the hood was the legendary 5.0-liter, 302 cubic inch V8, producing 225 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque. The engine featured electronic fuel injection, improved cylinder heads, a revised camshaft, and better flowing exhaust, giving it strong performance for the era. The 5.0 GT became especially famous among street racers and enthusiasts because it offered V8 power without an exotic price tag. With rear-wheel drive and a manual transmission, it could reach 60 miles per hour in around 6 seconds and run the quarter mile in the mid-14-second range. Add its aggressive front end, rear spoiler, and unmistakable V8 sound, and the 1987 Mustang GT became one of the defining American performance cars of the 1980s. In 1993, Chevrolet completely redesigned the Camaro Z28, creating a sharper and more modern American muscle car. Under the hood was the legendary 5.7-liter LT1 V8, producing 275 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque. Power was sent to the rear wheels through a 6-speed manual or 4-speed automatic transmission. The fourth-generation Camaro was also lighter and more aerodynamic, helping the Z28 reach 60 miles per hour in roughly 5.5 seconds and run the quarter mile in the low 14-second range. But the Z28 wasn't only about straight-line speed. It offered 4-wheel disc brakes, a sport-tuned suspension, and a low, aggressive stance. After years of declining muscle car performance, the 1993 Z28 showed that Chevrolet was bringing the Camaro back stronger than ever. In 1993, Ford created a Mustang built for one purpose: serious performance. The Mustang SVT Cobra R was the first Cobra R, developed by Ford's special vehicle team as a track-focused machine. Under the hood was a 5.0-liter high-output V8, producing 235 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. But the Cobra R was about much more than horsepower. Ford gave it Coney adjustable shocks, stiffer springs, larger brakes, heavy-duty cooling, and 17-inch wheels with performance tires. To save weight, Ford removed everyday equipment like the air conditioning, rear seat, and stereo. It even received an engine oil cooler and power steering cooler for harder driving. Only 107 Cobra R models were produced in 1993, making this stripped-down Mustang one of the rarest and most hardcore Fox-body Mustangs ever built. In 1987, Pontiac took the Firebird Trans Am and turned it into a faster, more sophisticated muscle car, the Trans Am GTA. Under the hood was the legendary 5.7-liter L98 V8, producing 225 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque when paired with the automatic transmission. But the GTA wasn't simply a straight-line muscle car. It featured four-wheel disc brakes, a sport-tuned suspension, quicker steering, and wide performance tires. Its aerodynamic body, ground effects package, and distinctive 16-inch cross-lace wheels gave it an unmistakable look. With its strong torque and rear-wheel drive, the GTA could reach 60 miles per hour in around 6 seconds and run the quarter mile in the mid-14 seconds. The result was a muscle car that combined V8 power, aggressive styling, and surprisingly refined handling, making the 1987 Trans Am GTA one of Pontiac's most memorable performance cars of the 1980s. In 1987, the Chevrolet Camaro IROC Z 350 became one of the coolest performance cars of the American muscle revival. Under the hood was the legendary 5.7-liter, 350 cubic inch V8, producing around 225 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque with the tuned port injection setup. The IROC Z wasn't just about straight-line power. Chevrolet gave it performance-tuned suspension, larger stabilizer bars, four-wheel disc brakes, and wider 16-inch tires, giving it much sharper handling than a standard Camaro. The tuned port injection system also delivered strong low and mid-range torque while making the engine more responsive. With rear-wheel drive and a muscular V8 soundtrack, the IROC Z could reach 60 miles per hour in roughly 6 seconds. With its aggressive body kit, deep front air dam, and unmistakable IROC Z graphics, the 1987 Camaro became an icon of 1980s American performance. In 1987, Buick created a car that looked almost ordinary, but could embarrass sports cars costing far more. The Buick GNX was the ultimate evolution of the Grand National, powered by a 3.8-liter turbocharged V6, officially rated at 276 horsepower and 360 pound-feet of torque. But those numbers didn't tell the whole story. The GNX featured a larger turbocharger, intercooler, special engine calibration, upgraded suspension, and strengthened transmission. Its rear-wheel drive setup delivered brutal launches, allowing the GNX to reach 60 miles per hour in roughly 4.6 seconds and run the quarter mile in the low 13-second range. Only 547 GNXs were produced, making it incredibly rare. With its sinister black paint, hood vents, and turbocharged V6, the GNX became one of the most feared American performance cars of the 1980s and proved that you didn't need a V8 to dominate the streets. In 1990, Chevrolet shocked the performance world with the Corvette ZR1, a machine so advanced it earned the nickname King of the Hill. Under the hood was the exotic 5.7-liter LT5 V8, producing 375 horsepower and 370 pound-feet of torque. Unlike the regular Corvette, the LT5 featured 32 valves, 4 overhead camshafts, and aluminum construction, with the engine developed alongside Lotus and built by Mercury Marine. Power went through a 6-speed manual transmission to the rear wheels. The ZR1 could launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 4.5 seconds and attack the quarter mile in the low 13 seconds. With its wider rear body, special wheels, and removable roof panel, the ZR1 looked like a Corvette, but underneath it was an entirely different level of American performance. In 1992, Dodge unleashed the Viper RT10, a car that brought raw American performance back in a huge way. Under its long hood was an enormous 8.0-liter V10, producing 400 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. The engine was built with an aluminum block and heads, helping keep its weight lower than you might expect from such a massive power plant. Power went through a 6-speed manual transmission to the rear wheels with absolutely no automatic option. The Viper could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 4.5 seconds and reach a top speed of around 165 miles per hour. But the Viper had almost no electronic safety net, no traction control, and no ABS on the early cars. With its enormous torque, lightweight body, side exit exhausts, and aggressive styling, the 1992 Viper RT10 was brutally fast, raw, and unforgiving, exactly what made it legendary.